when we're done.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
So we're recording from here on out. Yeah. So I looked at your website. As you saw, kind of walked through that. We'll definitely talk through some of that stuff today a little bit more. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's almost too much of a good thing. You've got a lot of good stuff there, and it's just a little bit overwhelming. I
Yeah.
was looking through your other stuff as well, and it's kind of the same. It's the same thing I keep saying. The same thing in your packages. Your packages are good, but it's overwhelming because there's so much information there.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about that because I'm in this. I got into this other program, Music Money Formula, and then this guy that he has some really good ideas, but yeah, that was like his template, and then I was kind of looking at that, and then I was thinking kind of the same thing. It's like, wow, this is a lot of information here. This might be a
And
little
it's
bit
not
over.
bad. Like looking through it, it's not like the website. It's not bad. It's just there's a lot of stuff there. And if you think about your typical sign up, which is just a mom that doesn't know anything about music that's signing up her kid, she doesn't know what half that stuff is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so it's not really selling her on it. It's just listing. It's the ingredient list is what you're giving her when she's asking for the menu.
So like you think with that with my that lesson package thing that maybe I should what I was doing was I don't know if you looked at the other page I had,
Your policies.
but yeah, what I had on top of that is I just had a simple little section that had, whatever my three choices
Yeah.
in there, and I just listed it that. You think I should go back to that and just drop that packages sheet?
Perhaps. Let's back up a bit. I want to kind of look at some big picture stuff for changing things, and then we can kind of come back around.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk kind of through that consult sheet I gave you. The first thing I want to do is kind of see what your big goals are, because that's going to change some things. I've got some teachers that I work with. Most teachers that I work with, they're doing the same thing I want. You want more students, you want more revenue, you just kind of want to grow. I've got a few that I work with, one in Seattle, for example. She's got about 40 or 50 students right now, and she's able to charge a lot because she's in Seattle. So she's actually fine. She's raising her prices a little bit, and she's actually looking to cut down her studio. So her goals are kind of the opposite of most people. And I've got a couple that are kind of in that realm where they're looking not as much as making more money or getting more students as much as tightening up their policies and just kind of making their life better, making things easier.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to look at for you, seeing exactly what you are, exactly what your goals are. So let's kind of read through what you wrote, and then we'll kind of talk through it. So it was what's your one big overall goal? You said for myself, it would be to get to the point where I have teachers teaching the lessons, staff running certain areas of my business, and I focus on creating new ideas to expand the business. As far as the studio, I want to build a rock school that has full band classes along with private lessons and possibly some elective type classes. Also want some kind of recording studio as part of the program, whether that be simple or complex, and maybe a practice area for guitar and bass. Cool, so that gives me an idea of where you're going. Definitely, you're looking for the big time stuff. And I think you're going to be good in that role. Looking at the stuff that you've got so far, you're a big picture guy. I'm the same way. My wife is actually running a lot of our studio stuff right now. She's more the detail-oriented day-to-day person, and that's where I struggle more. I'm more of a big picture type of person. And I can see that in your stuff. You've got these like big ideas that you're implementing across the board. So I can see that. Okay. So that gives me an idea of where you're
I wasn't really sure about, so I figured I'd wait till I got on here, and you can kind of walk me through it.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm just starting to use these consult notes too. I've had some other ways of organizing stuff, but this is the first month that I'm kind of doing this format. So yeah, that gives me an idea of where you're headed. Let's get a concrete goal that you want to work towards right now. So to go from where you are with 8 students to having like a big school and a recording studio, that's going to take a little bit of time to build up. So like, let's kind of figure out a step one. So you're at, how many students do you have today?
Right now, I picked up a couple, so yeah, I'm right around just 10.
Okay.
About it.
Yeah, that's good. So you got 10 students. Now, most people that I work with want to look at it one of two ways, or they want to look at both of them. In terms of goal, they either look at student numbers or they look at revenue. And we can look at it either way if you need to make a certain amount of money each month. We can look at and kind of trace that month after month, or if you want to look at the amount of students that you have, because that's kind of tied to your revenue too. We can go either way. But which one's easier for you to track?
I think that my initial way of thinking about it was I was thinking that maybe, you know, the first step anyways is to have a goal of like 20 students would make me comfortable at this point. And I was thinking maybe I need to go to 25, just a little bit of a leeway area. I was thinking maybe 25 might be a good goal to.
Yeah, so like 20 to 25 students, I think that's a good goal to get you going. So let's talk through that a little bit. You've got 10 students right now, so this is where I want to start looking at your packages. So you've got 3 different packages. You've got guitar teams, solo artist, and rockstar. Which,
yeah, I just made those titles, so
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's 45, 60, and 90. So you don't do 30 minutes. That's cool. So tell me about your 10 students. How many are in your guitar teams program, your 45-minute one of the 10?
Right now, I only have one of those going.
Okay.
I'm hoping to maybe get another one. You know, with the limited amount of students, it's kind of hard to get a good matches.
Yeah. I'm actually going to do probably a Facebook Live on that tomorrow in the group. It's a little bit unfair almost, but like our group program's starting to take off in our studio, and I've been trying to hit on why. And there's some reasons, like we started advertising back in March. We've done a lot of consistent advertising, that kind of stuff. But one of the main things is we just kind of hit that tipping point where we've been doing consistent stuff for years. We've been around for a long time. People are starting to trust us. We put our name out there, and we've grown to this point where it's just kind of easier to get stuff moving. You know, when you have 10 students and you're trying to suddenly get a bunch of stuff going, like it's hard. So I don't want to put out there and say, hey, here's what I did for group ABC. You do that and you're going to get them too. Because it doesn't work that way. You know, my school's different than your school right now. But when I had 10 students, when I had 20 students, like it looks different, and we can kind of work on how to build that up too. So yeah, it's hard to build from 1 to, 4 or 8 and those things. That's a lot harder than going from 20 to 40 in my mind.
Yeah.
For sure. So you've got one doing 45-minute lessons. How many are doing your 60-minute lessons?
That's well, I have a few students doing 45-minute lessons, but one just guitar teams as two in one. But
okay.
All the rest of my students are private.
Okay.
And I have actually those two, because how my guitar teams work is that they aren't together all the time. They're 45-minute private lessons, and then once or twice a month, depending on their schedules, one comes over to the other's 45-minute lesson, or they go back and forth, or their schedule works, and then we do a little. It's like a rock band thing. I play backing tracks. We work on songs.
That's really cool.
And the rest are private 45, and then I have 2 60-minute just private right now.
Okay. So do you have people that are doing guitar teams that aren't doing private lessons?
No.
Okay. So just walk me through how many are doing 45-minute lessons right now?
So if we got 10, I'd say altogether that'd be 8. With 2 of those are also doing the guitar teams.
Okay.
And then I got 2 of them as 60-minute lessons.
Okay. So 8 are at 45, 2 are at 60, and none are at 90 right now?
No.
Okay. And you have 2 people on guitar teams, and they're both coming out of your 45-minute?
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 total, 8 in 45-minute, 2 are 60-minute, and you have 2 that are in guitar teams that are part of your 45-minute thing.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. So that tells me, and it's hard to really get like clear data off of 10 students, so I don't want to make anything definitive and say this is definitely what you need to do. But obviously, it seems like there's more interest in 45-minute lessons than there is in 90-minute lessons. Have you had a lot of 90-minute students before?
No, I like to listen to different people's ways of thinking, and then so I forgot where it was I got it, but some mentor or something somewhere was saying, oh yeah, I should put out that big one out up on top, and then people will see that, and they'll be probably won't get any or many on that. You put that out there and then focus on the other ones. I don't know if that's good or not, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think your bread and butter is that 45-minute lesson. I think that's kind of where your sweet spot's going to be. Okay. So something I want to look at for you is I want to figure out who you are and where you want to go. Because what I see is you're taking a lot from other people, and that's a good thing. You definitely have researched. You've spent some time with like other people and other guys doing stuff. But you've kind of got this smorgasbord of just a bunch of different little things from here and there.
Yep.
And I think in there, you've lost kind of who you are and what you want to do. So that's kind of what I want to hear. So just of the three so far, you've got 45, 60, and 90. What do you like to teach? If you just had your call, money's not an issue, students aren't an issue, they'll sign up for whatever, what would you be teaching?
I don't, what I did, I had before was 30, 45, and 60.
Yeah.
And I only did the 30 because of the pricing point. So I finally, I've gone on and off a few times, but I finally said, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't really care in between 45 and 60. And the only reason I would really like 60 more is because you make more money, but
right.
But 45 is fine too.
Okay.
It's enough time for me to get through stuff.
Yeah. And then 90? Have you even done 90 before?
No, I never did a 90.
Okay. So I think 45 is kind of where you want to be. So you might even want to just advertise 45. So think about how much similar your thing looks if it has, this is kind of your main option for your program. Depending on what you want to do. So for us, this is the thing that works for us, and I think it can work for you, but you can kind of look at it. So for us, we have kind of our main program where you come in, you do private lessons. And then we have group lessons that are kind of the next step down. And then so that's our like best, and then our better is our group lessons for a semester. And then we have short-term groups. They're like 4-week or 6-week groups. And those are the cheaper and more affordable ones where we get more flaky people, but they kind of come in and it kind of helps to boost the income. And it's a wider ramp, so some of those will come and then turn into better students later.
Yeah.
We get probably about 30% of those that stick around and want to keep going. And the rest of them have a good time and they enjoy it, and a lot of them come back later, but they're just trying something. They're not really interested in, jumping into it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you've got 45, 60, 90. That's your program altogether, right? So I've seen that, but on your website you also had, maybe you called them something different.
You mean the different programs?
Yeah. It was like, hang on, let me get you pulled up real quick.
What, the Lex Rock and Rock School and all that?
I think so. Yeah. Was that under your guitar program page?
Yeah. Which I think, that's what we can talk about in a minute. I want to, a little bit, I want to talk about the website too, which I'm probably going to just drop all those.
Well, I think, so my stepfather-in-law, I guess, my wife's mom remarried a few years ago. He's been flipping houses for a few years and getting into like real estate stuff. And I flipped a house with him last summer, and he's in his mid-60s or so, and my wife's brother's about 40. And the two of them are not very tech savvy at all, but they're salesmen. They're very good at just like going to people and selling stuff and buying stuff. So they're trying to get me to help them put their stuff online. And what I've seen, the same with my wife's mom, she's an accountant. What I saw with both of them is they really didn't have a firm grasp of who they were and what their business was. So to just make them a website was really difficult because they didn't really know what they were yet. They didn't have a really good fit for it. So it was just kind of a bunch of stuff that it was getting thrown up there. So the idea is if we can get you figured out, if you know exactly what you are, exactly what you teach, how you teach it, what you want students to be, your whole identity, the website will kind of flow from that. If not, it's really easy to get kind of plugged into just like, oh, this is a really cool thing on this page, and I saw this here and it looks really good. But it turns into just a bunch of different things that look cool, but you kind of lose the identity of who you are. And just seeing the stuff that you do, man, like the videos that you got out there, the people that you study with, the programs that you've got, the passion that you put into it, you're really good at what you do. Like, I don't want to see all the other stuff that you've got from other people. I want to see you and what you're doing. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, on your guitar programs thing, you've got the Let's Rock program, the Rock School program, and the Metal Zone program, which I guess are different than the other things that we just talked about, right? So I guess you would like sign up for one of those things and then sign up for one of these things?
Yeah, basically, you basically would sign up for, that's the whole thing with the thing on the website is those different programs. It was another thing where, I started looking at people's different programs and listening to different, people's websites and listening to people's advice. And it's like, oh yeah, you should have these different programs. But really, yeah, I kind of have those different programs, but really, it's really one program. But I may use, maybe this book for someone that's younger, and then I may have a little bit different approaches, but it's not really separate programs.
It's more phenomenal than anything else. You're mostly just using the names.
Yeah.
So it's not really a different thing. It just sounds like it's a different thing.
Yeah.
I've done that kind of stuff before too. Okay, so you've got that stuff. Let me think.
So I don't know if you want to talk about this right now, but since we're talking about this particular area, on the website, I was thinking from what you were, talking about with analysis, is maybe, totally getting rid of all that. And then having that one, I don't know if I should probably still have a one page that has about the guitar programs, right? And then maybe just have one page talking about my overall program.
So part of it is, like, have you followed the StoryBrand stuff at all?
Yes. Yep. I was just started reading that. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of it is that concept, and I've found that works really well for most websites. So if you go to your website right now, your website is about you. And the problem is that there's only room for one hero in everyone's story. So when the mom comes, when the students come to your website, they're the hero in their own story, because we're all very self-centered. Everyone's got their own thing. So in my story, I'm the hero. In your story, you're the hero. So in their story, they're already the hero. So they come in and they kind of confront you as another hero, because you're already putting all of your stuff out there. So what you want to do instead is kind of phrase it more as, this is what I can do for you, without listing all the ingredients. So back to that restaurant thing, you want to give them the menu, showcase the awesome food. Don't give them the ingredient list of all the different spices that you put into it. Just show them. So your student spotlight videos, dude, those are incredible. Those are your students, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, those are your students. Those are your videos. That's amazing. That's what I want to see. So I want to go to your website and I want you to say, do you see this kid? I can do this for your kid.
Yeah.
You got an 8-year-old that loves guitar? This is what I can do. That's what I want. And what I want more than that is not just the musical side of it, because you've seen this with your students too. It's not just that that kid can like play these awesome solos. It's what happens to that kid during the process.
Yeah.
He comes in and then he starts to get this confidence and he starts to kind of find himself and find this newfound thing in him that he's never had before. That's what sells music lessons. Not all the stuff that goes with it, not all the stuff that not all the teacher stuff, but the non-musical stuff is what moms want. Moms want to know, what's it going to do for my son? And if you can tell them that, that's what's going to do it.
Did you happen to look last night? The first couple sections on my site, I messed around with a little bit. Did you happen to see that at all? Or?
On the home page?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what you thought about that.
So first,
breaking up.
Yeah. All right, let me look real quick. I think it's going to break up if I go over. What did you fix? What did you change?
So the very first section, which I did have before, I put that that video you were talking about on the section below. I put that back up on top, and then I got rid of a bunch of extra, like my logo, and it had some extra stuff, and I kind of simplified that that little area, so there's not a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah.
And then the second area, I kind of got rid of. It was like a big paragraph up there. You said that it was sort of like, a bullet point section. So I got rid of that, and then I put one of those performance videos right next to there in that section.
Yeah.
So that's what I did there, and then I did a little something on the footer. But I did have, again, I don't know if you want to go into this right now, but I had a couple other questions on the other sections.
Yeah, we can jump into that. So real quick on the stuff that you've done already. The top is better. You've got that video. Let's talk really quick about your logo, your name, kind of all that. So your Facebook page and your website are Guitar Lessons Lebanon, CT. And I see the Electric Crown thing, but it's kind of buried in there. Or like when I was doing your Facebook thing, I did it for a while and went, oh, I guess his name is Electric Crown Guitar Studio or Music Studio, whatever you are. So how does that fit into where you are? Like when you advertise yourself, do you advertise yourself as Don or as Electric Guitar or Electric Crown? What do you?
Well, the whole thing, the reason I put that, like Guitar Lessons, Lebanon, CT, is I was talking with somebody with SEO and stuff, and they said for Google and everything, you probably should have your town in the web address and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's basically why I did that. It's kind of same thing with the Facebook thing.
Okay. Yeah. Have you noticed a big intake there?
Well, I've had for like a while. I do know that I rank really well in my town and do okay in some of the other towns.
Yeah. Good. Okay. I'm for that. Just as you start building and branding, especially if you want to go big with it, you're gonna have to figure out how you want to brand it. If you want to put yourself out there as Don or Electric Crown or Guitar Lessons, you can definitely put yourself out there as Electric Crown and still do that as your website. But okay, so looking through the rest of the stuff.
So what I'm wondering is, are you suggesting that instead of that, I should actually be having the Electric Crown Guitar School as the address?
I'm not sure yet, honestly. Yeah. Because if it I'm a pragmatist at best. If it's working, I'm all for that. I don't want to rock the boat if something's going well. So I definitely want to spend a little more time with it and see. It was just something that struck me. Good or bad, I don't know yet. But it was just like, okay, so he's kind of got 2 or 3 different almost names that he's running under. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The only reason I put the other one, I have another one. I actually do have an old one that does go there. I don't use anymore. That one you mentioned, rock-lessons.com.
That's the one that's on your Facebook page, by the way.
That's coming on the Facebook?
Or is it on your Facebook? It's either on the Facebook page for your thing, or maybe it's on your personal page.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere I clicked on that to get to your website. So check that out. It might be on your Facebook page as the Rock-Lessons one.
I did. I made another one, rocklessonsct.com.
Yeah.
And the only reason I did that is figuring that might be easy for somebody to remember.
Yeah. And that's not bad either. It's definitely not bad to collect a few URLs that you can use for stuff.
But overall, yes, I would like to. I want to have a brand identity of my actual studio, and eventually, Electric Crown Rock School, something like that. I'd like to do.
Definitely, it takes time to build. So, I've been teaching for about 10 years before I opened my school, and mine's Stick and Strum. We added Academy when we opened because it felt more school-like. Made us feel official to kind of put that. But Stick and Strum is what we've been. I don't even really like the name. It was just kind of a placeholder name that I made up. And it just kind of stuck. So I've looked at changing it a few different times to something more like our town. And people have told me over and over again, your name's really unique. People remember it. We get Sticks and Strums all the time. We're Stick and Strum, singular. But whatever it is, people are going to remember that. So even if you type into Google Sticks and Strum or Stick and Strums or whatever it is, people are going to remember that. Where if it was something more generic, they might kind of forget it or it would blend into the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took us a while, but at this point, we've been really, really consistent with advertising over the last few years, like with Facebook and stuff on the road, just a bunch of different things that we do, to where people know who we are. We were in the airport, little family vacation back in May, and we're just sitting playing with a family and talked to them a little bit and mentioned, oh yeah, we've got a music school, it's Stick and Strong. They're like, yeah, we've heard of you guys. That's new. You know, for a while it was people knew of us or like friends of friends. You know, they would always know of us through a student. And they were just, no, we've heard of you guys. We've seen you posting around. We've seen your road signs. Like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. So we started to see more of that, but it took us 4 or 5 years to kind of build that brand recognition. But yeah, once you get it, it's good. Like, it definitely goes a long way. So now I can just say our name, and people kind of know us and what we stand for and who we are. So that's kind of where we'll push you.
So what about this? I have I actually do have the URL Electric Crown Guitar School, but that's kind of I actually have that connected to my Teachable thing. But should you think maybe I should take that, take it off of there? But maybe
I wouldn't change it up yet.
No.
I would keep it like it's going. But it's something we'll look at, and then let me look into kind of the SEO implications of that. If you're changing it and things can go into it, let me research that a little bit and see a little more of what that will do for you.
But I didn't mean like replacing the Lebanon guitar school, Lebanon, Connecticut. I meant like just like having using that, like I'm using rocklessonct.com and directing it towards there. Or just hold off for now, you think?
Hold off for now. I don't think it's going to give you a huge benefit yet. But definitely let's keep thinking about that. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Right now, this month specifically, I really just kind of want to focus on you and figuring out. So I want to strip away all the stuff that's around you. And it doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything, but I just want to kind of do like a little thought experiment for a minute. And I want to bring you to kind of nothing. So instead of the programs that you have and the pricing and everything else and all these things that you've kind of built around and taken from place and place, just you and what you do best. So 45-minute lessons seem to be that, right? That seems to be kind of your goal there. So 45-minute private lessons. But your guitar groups are also kind of a really cool thing that you do. Do you enjoy those, or is that just something that you do?
Oh yeah, they're fun.
So
I sort of I'd like to have a program where it's kind of it's a I've seen other schools do this. It's a partial private and then partial like band classes, but I can't have band classes right now. Then maybe eventually when I got space, do some actual full-on groups. But
yeah, I think it's cool. I really like the format of what you've got. I would probably, as you start to grow, structure it a little bit cleaner to where it would sound more like you get three private lessons a month and one guitar group a month. That way it's really, because right now it's like you get 1 or 2 of these a month and then we do this, and it's kind of like it gets buried in the big list of things that happen. But if you can be really clear with that, I think I like it. Like, I really like that concept of group stuff and merging the two together, because I think you get the best of both worlds that way. So I think that's a really cool thing. I think that's a unique thing to you too. I don't see a lot of studios that do that. So I think that's a good thing. I like the guitar group thing. We call them buddy lessons. So that's kind of what I jotted down. Just, groups with 2 people. So I think that is good. The next thing would be kind of who you are as a teacher, style type stuff. So personally, like, you struck me more of like a rock, like that's kind of your thing, right?
Yeah.
But you've mentioned on the website, Taylor Swift, Beatles, all that kind of stuff too. So I think one of the things you have to look at is, do you want to be the specialist? Do you want to be the rock guitar guy in your area, to where people are traveling an hour to come to take lessons to you because you are the guy, period, and you're worth traveling for? Or are you going to be more of kind of a general guitar school, which is still a specialty thing because you're still a guitar school, and take on Taylor Swift students and kids that are just kind of getting started with basic stuff? Kind of who do you want to be there?
Yeah, so So yeah, one of the things I did, again, we can take a look at that in a second, but I did take out that little, in the second section, I took out the little, we specialize in rock and metal styles.
Okay.
Which the only reason I put metal is just to, to kind of grab some of those, the metal guys too, but
Yeah.
overall
Tell me
rock.
about that real quick. So you've got 10 students.
Yeah.
What's kind of your breakdown? Like, what are most of your students working on? How many like metal, like heavy electric stuff do you have? How many are just kind of general? What does it look like?
Yeah. So that kind of brings it back to that is, it's mostly, really classic rock and some, a couple metal guys that also like classic rock.
Yeah.
So my overall focus is I don't really want to be a general music school because although I do okay with some people that come in with different I put Taylor Swift on there, but they don't last as long. The ones that really last long are the ones that are in the more the classic rock, modern rock, some metal styles. So I'd like to be like my thing is sort of like the rock school kind of thing.
I think that's what you should be.
Yeah.
I think you were probably trying to throw your net a little bit too wide.
Yeah.
Like you said, like there are a lot of people out there, probably not as many as the 80s and 90s because music scene's changing a little bit. But there's still a lot of people that want rock, that want metal, that want that style. So I think you can be that guy, and especially if you're not looking like if you want to grow your school. What's your geographic region like? What's your area like?
That was one of my big struggles. Is I'm in my home studio here in the house, and I'm out in the country.
Okay.
And we have a pretty low population. So
what's your population?
What's that?
What's your population roughly?
I forget. It's below 10,000.
Okay.
But I also market to the towns around.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that I was kind of struggling with a little bit. Although it's now that I'm stepping up the different marketing, I'm starting to at least get more people seem like they're interested anyways.
Yeah. What's the big, do you have a big town near you?
Yeah, we got it. We have a couple that are so-so. One called Willimantic, another one Norwich. They're more populated, and I don't know why, but in those two areas, I'm not really ranking too well in Google.
Is there a lot of competition there?
Not Norwich, but in Willimantic, there's a one I just discovered that has a pretty cool little. It's in the factory area. They turned into a nice school with a performance area, and it's not modern or anything, but they have like some really cool stuff going on there.
That's pretty cool. So one thing that you can do to kind of boost it in those towns, and one of the things with SEO is slow. There's no way to rush it. So if you do something today, it's going to take a few months for it to really start kicking in. You're seeing some stuff that way. But once you get it, it's going to keep paying off long term. Yeah. One of the things you can do is a location-specific page.
Yes, I just did one just recently.
Yeah, so I've got those. We're in, our studio is technically in a town called Pelham, but we're literally right on the line of Hoover, like 100 yards away. And Hoover is where I had my studio before I moved into my own studio. So I've kind of got those two towns. Well, Helena is another town that is like maybe a quarter mile the other way. I actually live in Alabaster, which is maybe 10-minute drive through Pelham on the other side. And so there's about 5 towns, about 20 minutes away from Birmingham is our big major city in Alabama.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, our location just happened to be right in the middle of all these fairly decent sized cities. So they range from probably 50,000 to 80,000, like not massive, but not small towns either. If I go, like I live in Alabaster, if I keep going south from there, then I get to towns that have 30,000, 10,000, 5,000 country stuff the further south you go. But we're kind of still up near the city in the suburbs. So I got lucky in that I have all of these cities around me. So we teach a bunch of different instruments. So I have like guitar lessons Pelham, guitar lessons Hoover, guitar lessons Alabaster, guitar lessons Salina, piano lessons Hoover, piano lessons Alabaster, so I have like 20 or 30 of those pages put out there. And none of them are on my website. You can't find any of them. They're just hidden pages that you Google, basically. But if you search for guitar lessons in Pelham, so if you did like guitar lessons in Norwich, that would come up pretty highly ranked, because specifically it's keyword heavy, without being egregious. You don't want to get too crazy with it, because Google can kind of sense that stuff. But you put enough in there to where it sees that and it can rank you high. So definitely look at that for those towns. How far are those away for you?
Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Most of our students are going to travel about that far. I feel like students are going to travel about 15, 20 minutes for most. Yeah. And then apart from there, they're either going to have to really want to come to you for some reason, be desperate because there's just nothing else available, or something like that. We have students that travel over an hour one way to come to take from us and pass a whole bunch of music schools on the way. And some of them, they've just really clicked with our teachers. Others, it was a recommendation. We've got one that lives in kind of a country town, and there was nothing there, and they found us. And once they found us, there were like 3 or 4 other schools they could have stopped at that were pretty similar on the way, but they already found us, so they kind of stuck around. So you can do that, and especially with a 20-minute drive, I think that's very doable. Okay, so that gives me a little idea of where you are. I think you can build up, a decent size, definitely the 20, 25 students. So you were at 40 at one point. When was that?
Between 35, 40. That was like that's a long time ago now. Over 10 years ago, when I was working in an actual music school, store. It was really kind of store/school. It wasn't really much of a store. I only had a few things in it. And then I was doing a little bit at home. And then, so right around that time, and then the economy hit, and then, I told you about the other stuff with my mom. And then right around then after that, I just never seemed to recover. It was like, just a constant struggle. That's why so many times it was like, oh, I've had enough of this,
It's a hard road, man. I've been there. So when you had that 35 to 40, most of those were teaching for someone else?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I went down a bit when I went totally on my own, but
yeah. Okay, so I think from what I can gather and see in your students, you're a really good teacher, and you're just building up your business chops still.
Yeah.
But it's if you kind of realizing it's the first thing, So you're there, and I think you're definitely like finding ways to make that better, and I think you're gonna hit it. So, okay. You're at 10. Where have you been recently? Have you been like climbing up, and 10 is the most that you've had, or have you been kind of a little bit higher and you're dropping? Give me the last like year or so. What's it look like?
I'd say last year. That's another thing I got to do is I got to start keeping track of stats and stuff.
Yeah, that's something we'll do on this form here too.
Yeah. Last year at one point, I don't remember exactly what I did, but it started slowly building up to where I got between 15 and 20, and then I wasn't getting any more, and then just little by little, like a few of those were not my best students, so they didn't really last very long. But then I was doing okay, but then I was getting no students anymore, and just little by little, one would drop off, and another would drop off, and I wasn't getting anything replacing it all. To now, now it's starting to pick back up a little slowly, but yeah, I was kind of stale for a while.
Yeah,
I'm good at keeping us. You score, I can keep them like. Boom! Most of my students have been with me for years.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Your retention's pretty good for most of them?
Yeah, for my core students, yeah.
The quit are going to quit in the first 3 months.
What's that?
I said most students that quit are going to quit in the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone sees that. So we actually do, for us, we do semesters. We do a 4-month semester, So we kind of push them over that hump on purpose. So if they're there for 4, they're probably going to come back for the next one because, dude, that first part sucks. Your fingers hurt. You come in with like these rock star dreams, and then you don't sound anything like what they sound like because you don't see that it took them 20 years to do everything that they can do. So it's hard, and a lot of people quit. So
can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So before we wrap up, can we please take like 5-10 minutes? And I do have a few more questions about the website.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead, whatever you're saying.
Okay, so we'll come back to the site in just a second. I'm just kind of getting a grasp of where you are. So you've got 10 students. We want to basically double to about 20, 25 students.
Yeah.
I think we can do that. Is summer a good time for lessons in your area or a bad time?
Well, it's usually a bad time, but like I said, I've been kind of stale for a little bit, but now it's not much. But yeah. I'm getting right now, oddly enough, I'm getting more inquiries, and I got a couple students, new students I just got, and then a month ago I got another one of my students I have now is a brand new student. So it's kind of, although I'm gonna be losing one, I know, but it seems like luckily it's starting to get a little bit better.
So when you talk to people and you show them your 45-minute option and the price point,
yeah,
how do they feel about that? Like, are they like, okay, yeah, good, or is there any pushback or hesitation, or? No,
I actually I get either you're just okay, or I even have got a couple of that's very reasonable.
Okay, so yeah, so you're in a good place. Does anybody pay in full for the 6 months or whatever it is?
No, I kind of use that for again, I got that from the suggestion from the other guy.
It can work well. That's what we do.
Kind of use that as a a little tool where you can pay monthly and then do it that way. You can't play it all at once, and then I kind of tell them that this is more like a handshake kind of thing. It's like if I'm not going to bring you to court or anything if you absolutely have to stop, after a couple months or something.
Right. Okay. So I saw that in your policy too. Like at the bottom of your policy, you had not legally binding. I'd get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I mean, everyone knows you're not going to be able to really like do that, but I don't think drawing attention to it really is going to bring anything. So I would just take that part out and just leave it as the basic thing. I'll give you some more tips on that after. I would put I don't think I saw it in there, kind of a media release type thing for like pictures and video.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, yeah.
Yeah, just add a little thing in like, by being a student here, you agree to have your pictures and video used for, social media and website purposes, that kind of stuff. Make it just a normal thing. Don't make it a big thing and have a big opt-out, because no one really cares. Like, it's social, like everyone's out there at this point. So 10, 15 years ago, it was kind of a bigger deal. I don't feel like it's as big of a deal, and it depends on your type of studio and your type of personality too. We're super laid back. I'll be honest, we don't even have a media release that we have students sign. We've never had a problem. If we did, we'd immediately pull everything down, and we wouldn't have that student out there anymore and probably bring some stuff in. But no one seems to care. They're happy to see their kids out there. But if you're going to have your form, it's good to have it on there. So what I would do is, I think you should focus on the 45-minute thing. I think you should super simplify. I think that's where you're losing people. I think you said, you're talking to people, if you can talk to them, kind of get them signed up, but then you give them that big form and it's got all this stuff on it. And what do they really need? 45-minute lessons, $149. That's all they need to know.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to include the 3 lessons and a guitar, do they have to pay extra for the guitar group? Or is that just part of it?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Is it mandatory? Like, is it something that they just?
No, if they someone's like, I think I had one person who's like, oh, I don't really want to do the guitar teams thing. They can
Yeah.
just do all private all the way through.
Yeah. So I would do that. I would make it like a normal thing, and maybe put it out there as 45-minute lessons, 149 a month. You get 3 private lessons and 1 group lesson, which is going to be you and another student. Yeah. So when you do that, you're doing. Let me think through it. Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. So I think that's your main offering for sure. If there's not a price push against it where people aren't afraid to sign up, I think that's fine as your only option. If you want a cheaper option or something more friendly, you could maybe start people in groups of 2. So you could do like some kind of intro thing, like you got your intro lesson, like 5 lessons for 100 or something like that. Is that your deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your 5-week intro course for $99. That could be something where you have like 2 students at the same time. So you basically get them used to the idea of a guitar group right from the beginning. You make a little more income that way because you've got 2 people in a group for 200 instead of 1 person for 100. So you make a little more. You can do it as a 30 or 45-minute thing. Go ahead.
So the my whole goal with that the 5 lesson thing was to get, like attract them in. Hey, here's, you're gonna try this out for $99, and you can try out the 45-minute lessons to see what they're like. Which and then yeah, if you like them, then boom, you'll go back up to 150.
Yeah, I think that's the hard sell because you're not offering something special, you're discounting your normal thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So instead of offering like a special intro package where, hey, come in and we're going to, like, you know the G4 thing. You taught it for a bit, right?
Yeah.
The G4 has his intro thing. And it's weird to me. I've been talking with Paul for a few months now, and it's backwards of how I would do it, where they come in and their intro is one-on-one. And then you put them into groups from there. But either way, it's something totally different. And then you move into the normal thing. For you, it's just exactly the same as it would normally be for lessons. They just pay cheaper. And then you have to sell them on this higher price point, which is kind of significantly higher because they're going from 5 weeks at 100 to 4 weeks at 150.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big jump. So what I would do is, if you're going to keep that, and it might be worth it to put it out there as just a lower cost option, is maybe do 30-minute lessons for that price and just let them know, hey, we just do this for the intro, just for beginner students, and then we move them up to 45, where they can work on some other stuff. So that way you're not spending as much time.
You mean?
Go ahead.
You mean, doing the same thing but just 30 minutes instead of 45?
Yeah, or if you have a 5-week curriculum that's specifically laid out for this, that works well. Or do a 3-week thing. You can do 3 weeks for $100.
Yeah.
I think that has, honestly, the same ring as 5 weeks for 100. It's really not any worse. And that gives them an idea. Kind of come in, get started. What I like to do when we've got those types of groups is, it's almost like cheating, but get them started on something really simple. And kind of, if you follow Dave Simon stuff at all,
a little bit.
Yeah, of just kind of getting people to love an instrument, and then they're going to come to practice and they're going to love to do stuff a lot more. So we'll do stuff where we kind of, start them on really, really simple stuff from the beginning, to where they kind of build those essential skills, but it's not on skill building. It's on, here's something that you can play, and you're going to be able to walk out of here and play this, and your friends are going to think it's cool, and you're going to feel really good about it. And then we can go back and build up some like skills to build on that going forward, instead of like, okay, here's number 1, we're going to work on the chromatic scale, and then we're going to move into this. Like, no one signs up for guitar to learn the chromatic scale.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's good for finger strength, it's good for dexterity, but no one's walking away from that super excited. So if you can give them something really, I had a student walk in yesterday, voice student. She wanted to come in for voice. She was like 10 years old. Her mom came and her grandmother came into the studio. So she didn't really know what she wanted to do. She kind of likes to sing. She was thinking maybe guitar or something too, maybe an instrument. She just wasn't sure. And I told the grandmother, hey, bring her in. We'll just let her play around on some stuff, and we'll see. Yeah. So I gave them the tour of the studio, walked them through. She kind of said the same, and I'd mentioned ukulele just as a good kind of way to start her, because she was like 9 or 10, and guitar is going to be big and scary, and she just wanted to sing and strum some stuff. Ukulele is way easier for that, and it transfers over really well. So I brought him into the room and said, hey, let me show you some stuff. So I showed her, I don't know, have you done ukulele at all?
No.
So it's a guitar capo 5, and it's the first 4 strings.
Oh, okay.
So it's exactly the same. So like a D chord on the guitar is a G chord on the ukulele.
Oh, okay.
So it's exactly the same. So that's what I tell people. Get started here, and then all the same chord shapes are going to move over, and it's going to be really simple. So I brought her in, taught her a C chord, which is like a G chord, just a 1 finger kind of thing. A minor, which is like your E minor with just 1 finger. And then F, which is kind of like a C chord without that 3rd finger. I can teach that in about 90 seconds, and I've never had anyone not be able to play those 3 chords because they're 1 and 2 finger chords. But not only did I have her play, I gave it to the mom and the grandmother too, and had all 3 of them playing. So within like 90 seconds, they had no idea what they were doing, and then they were all strumming C chords and strumming A minor chords and strumming F chords, and they walked out super excited. And I was even trying to sell them on a family class because we do those too. But it was just because I gave them an instrument and showed them something really simple and said, look, you can do this. This isn't scary. And then they could walk out and do it. So if you can find something like that for guitar, you know, if you Smoke on the Water, like that kind of thing, where it's like everybody can play something kind of cool and easy, then you can build on that going forward. Yeah. I would think about maybe what you can do for an intro type of program, if there's even a need for that in your area, because you might be in a small enough area to where you don't need it. You don't need to throw out a special. Do you have a lot of guitar like competition?
Yeah, I think I mean, there's a few music schools, but I don't think there's no real rock school kind of things around this area.
So I think that's your edge. Put yourself out there that way. When we started, and especially before I even opened my school, that was my edge. We were the rock school. And I'm not even as far rock as you are. But I was around so many classical academies.
Yeah.
I kind of got dubbed as the rock guy, even though I was doing like pop. And, you know, I'm doing like Taylor Swift. But to someone doing Bach, that's rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that can kind of be your niche. But as we grew and as we've kind of molded over the last few years, there's a lot more here that are doing really similar to what we're doing because the everything's changing around it. But if in your area you're still kind of the rock guy,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, you can be Don the rock guy and like go out and be that. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that gives us kind of a good idea of where you are. I would simplify, and this kind of goes into your website stuff too. Everything's a test. So any changes we make, you can what do you do your website through?
You mean
your host, like you're doing
the host, the Bluehost?
Okay. Is it a WordPress site or?
Yeah, it's WordPress, and I also use the Optimized Press theme.
Okay, gotcha. Can you just copy pages?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So do that with these. When you go in and change a page, just copy it and then kind of hide it. So if you want to go back to it or want to go back and look at it, you can do that. And then just try some stuff out, honestly. Yeah. Like, you know, just kind of A/B test some stuff. Say, okay, what happens if for a month I just put out one option, 45-minute lessons, instead of having all these different options? What if I change this? What if I change that? But the idea is don't change too many things because then you don't know what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that I want from you that we've kind of talked about is I want you to figure out who you are outside of all the stuff that you've kind of grabbed from other people. You've seen what works and what doesn't. That's how, I mean, music is the same way. You didn't just invent everything that you play on guitar. You looked at everyone that's played, and that's what music is. You borrow and you steal, and you kind of come up with your own style. So I think you've borrowed and stolen stuff, which is great, but I don't think you've found your style yet. I think you've just you're almost like a cover band. You've got like all these little pieces from other people, but you haven't like found your identity yet. But what I've seen is it's buried in there. Like the stuff that you've got, those student videos, man, those are gold. Goes on your Facebook page every freaking week. And keep making some more. Those are fantastic. Those students are really good. The stuff that they're playing it's music, like it's good stuff. And they're enjoying it. Like they all seem like they were really having fun and really confident. Not like cocky, not like in your face stuff, but you could tell they enjoyed what they were doing and they were really confident with what they could play. And that's what moms want to see. That's what people want to see when they're signing up for lessons. So put that kind of stuff out there, that around your site more. On your homepage, you put the video of that kid, but you didn't put anything about what that is.
Yeah, that was one thing I was wondering if I should put a little blurb underneath that.
So put a little thing. The best would be if you could get a testimonial or review from that mom or from that kid, if he's still a student, to where they go, Ethan loves lessons here. He's, whatever it's going to be. If you can put that right under it, that's great. Honestly, even if it's not the same kid, no one knows. Testimonial just happens to be a video above it. People are going to kind of make the connection, even if it's not. I'm a big fan of taking testimonials and reviews like you've got at the bottom, but instead of putting them all in one place, or the videos all in one place where it's overkill, spread them out and use it to sell a certain feature. So you got this video that you want to showcase, find me a review or get someone to write a review that talks about what you want to talk about there.
Yeah, I'm sure I could get him or his father to do something.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just tell people, hey, we're looking for reviews for our Facebook page and website. We're just trying to get some more students in. I always tell people, look, man, I love working with you and your family. I want a bunch more families just like you.
Yeah.
You can tell me what you love about here. Other people are going to love that too. And we've done that, man. Our whole studio, we had about 180 students when we closed in the spring. It's all the same types of kids that we had when I had 40 students. It's the same types of families. Even though I'm teaching like 10 of them at this point, it's the same types of people. And it astounds me over and over again that some kind of way we just happen to get these, because we're in the South, and there's a lot of like really conservative people, and there's a lot of really kind of rich, judgy people here too. And we don't get a lot of those, but we're really close to a lot of those.
Yeah.
But I think there's another big school in the area that gets all of those students because they're kind of more of that type of school.
Yeah.
So once you can kind of figure out your personality and your niche, that's when you're going to start kind of bringing in stuff more. So that's what I want you to think about this month. Think about kind of who you are, who you want to be. Think about your students. I've done this before where this is a good exercise. Take your students, your 10 students, and it's good because you've got 10 right now. You don't have a lot to go through. Take each one and write down just some attributes about them. It can be musical stuff, it can be personality stuff, but just kind of write down some things. And you're going to see after a few of these, if you take your 10 and then kind of aggregate it, all the data, you're going to go, okay, well, all of these kids love rock, maybe, or maybe all of them are kind of shy, but then they came out of their shell when they got here more, or all of them are 14. Like 14 just seems to be a really good age for my studio. Just kind of look at whatever it is, kind of write down a few different things about each student, some just facts about them. And then see what is common. Your commonality may be that you have no commonalities. Like we had someone come in yesterday that was looking at our sign-up sheet, and she said, man, there's like every age here, because you went through the ages on our sheet, and it was like 64, 4, 7, 27, 39, like all different ages. And like that's kind of our thing, that we kind of work for everybody. But if you work for a certain age group really well, or a certain type of student, or a certain genre, or whatever it is, once you can figure that out and figure out how to market specifically to those people, it's going to work. And that's what's out there. So we're really casual. Like I said, we don't get those like those rich, snobby type of people, because our marketing turns them away. I'm really casual and we're really laid back, and they don't like that. They kind of look down on that. But there's another school that caters to that a little bit more. So we kind of spread the thing. So if you can find those types of students that you love, figure out how to talk to those students, and you're already doing it because you've got them and you keep them. So figure out how to put that into your marketing to where it's you talking to these people, and you're definitely going to turn some people off. You're gonna put some stuff out there, and whether it's a classical student or Taylor Swift student or whatever it is, they're going to look at you and go, no, that is not the guy that I want teaching my kid. And that's fine. That's exactly what you want, to be a little bit polarizing, because you want your types of kids, and you don't want the other types of kids because they're not going to stick around anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your big thing, because all of the stuff on your website, all of your marketing, everything comes back to that. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know who you're trying to find, you're just throwing stuff out there hoping that it's going to stick.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you're getting closer. I can see it through everything else. I can see who you are and what you do well. So just kind of start putting pen to paper on that stuff. We've got a few minutes left if you want to look at your website a little bit. Do you have any like specific questions?
Yeah, so I had some more involved questions, but I can save those. Overall, does it look like I already know we talked about how oh, here's one question in the testimonials area. You talked about maybe just having maybe just Troy in there, and then should I bring in like a also in that section maybe a picture of Alex, because you said I should showcase that, like have a picture of him teaching me, and then a little blurb on that on the side, and have that like in the middle of that section.
How does Troy Stedna give you a review? Like, did you take lessons with him? Do you know him? Like, what's the?
What happened was a while ago he was doing this online video magazine.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. It had I don't know if you heard of Mark Tremonte.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Tremonte, and it had a couple issues had Michael Badio in it.
Yeah.
And I was able to actually get in there and do some articles in there, or me teaching some of Troy's little licks and stuff. And then he stopped it, but then I kept talking with him a little bit, and then I actually got Troy to. I was thinking of doing this again, to sign some certificates for me, and I put because I was starting the Troy Statina certificate program.
Yeah.
So I sent them to him and he signed them for me. So I kind of connected that way.
It's really cool. Yeah. I like it, man. So put that, because I know who he is. Like I said, I think some of your students might as well, but a lot of people won't. So like, I don't know if he's as big of a deal as he is in my mind, but like he really helped. Like his books really helped me with some stuff and some students. He seems like kind of a big rock star type dude. Put a video of him up there.
Yeah.
You know? Like put some stuff up there where it's like, hey, this is Troy. This is what he's done.
There is a pretty good there is an actual video he put out actually of an overall. It's about, he has this thing called Sound and Fury. It's a DVD instructional DVD, but it like talks about him. Yeah, I can put that on the side of that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Something like that, just to kind of bring attention to like who he is, and it's not. You're not name dropping per se because you actually did work with him and stuff, but it is kind of like, hey, here's this guy and he's kind of a big deal. Here's all the stuff that's there.
Yeah.
And it was Alex from like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Like put some videos up of him doing some Trans-Siberian Orchestra stuff. Like the fact that you took with him is kind of a big thing.
So that's where I'm a little confused of where the heck to put that.
Yeah. That could just be more of like, if you do an about page that talks about you a little bit, I'm a bigger fan of on those pages making it about the student and about what you can do for them. But I think in yours, especially because it's just you and you're kind of in a smaller town, I think you can still put it out there about you, kind of the stuff that you've done, the stuff that you studied with, what you've been doing over the years. Put some videos of yourself out there, what you can do and kind of where you're at with stuff. And then put some studios or some videos of your students and what they can do, especially your better ones. But get some video reviews. So just talk to some of your students, over the next week or two, and just, you can use your phone or whatever you've got, and just say, hey man, we're just getting some reviews and stuff for the website. Could I ask you a few questions, like on camera, and just do like hey, what do you like about taking lessons here? What do you, and you can post the whole interview, or you can just post little slips of it and like kind of make it an edited thing. But that goes a long way. So
overall, should I on the front page anyway? Should I just kind of keep except for like that section, and of course take a testimonial and put that where my face is in the second section? But overall, should I just kind of just leave most of the front page the way it is, except for those couple changes for now?
The website has one purpose. The one purpose is to get students to sign up for lessons, to get people to contact you. So you can phrase it a few different ways, but it's one of those things. It's either to get them to contact you or to make them sign up or whatever it is. For you, in your case, it's probably to get them to contact you, right?
Yeah.
That's the purpose. So every single thing on your website has to pass that test. Look at every sentence, look at every picture, look at every section, and say, is this going to make someone contact me? If so, how do they contact me from this point?
Yeah.
So, if you're in your top section, get started now. That's great. You got the schedule and intro lesson. Do people use that?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
get a few people who
Yeah.
use it.
So that's good. Keep that there. But all the way through, stop trying to teach yourself. Let us help. Get started now. You've got your thing there. Put one in your little section too that's got your stuff. Have that all the way
Keep
through.
that
So
section.
you don't want to be, you don't want to be annoying with it. You don't want to have it everywhere.
Yeah.
But if I'm on a section, I want to be able to, without scrolling or having to find something,
Yeah.
to be able to click and do that. So that's your call to action. Make sure those are very easy to find and very clear on what it is and what you want them to do. So your call to action is get started now.
Yeah.
Try a few different things there too. It's going to be get started now, contact us, sign up for whatever, sign up today. It can be different things that all lead to the same purpose on the same page, but maybe try some different call to actions and see what people do.
Oh, so it is okay to mix them up?
Well, I wouldn't mix them. I would, well, you can, I guess, if you want to, not on the same page.
Oh, you mean
different pages?
mean
But what I would
try
do is kind of change all of them. So maybe like this month, change them all to something. Next month, change them all to something else. It doesn't really matter because they're all doing the same purpose, and sign up is just as well as contact. It's probably the same, but you might stumble on something where you go, oh, this one's way better than this one for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Even different colors. You can change the color of it. You can put some exclamation points behind it, make it sound more aggressive, and like sign up now. Things like that. It's trial and error. And I can tell you kind of what's worked for us, but what worked for me down here with the bigger school may not work for you up there with working out of your house. So everybody's different. We've tried a bunch of different things and kind of found what's worked for us over time, but it takes time. It's trial and error. Honestly, it's a science experiment. It's just you trying stuff out, come up with a hypothesis and test it out and see what's going to work there. But what I would do is go through your website and every single point say, is this going to make a student contact me?
Yeah.
Does this help, or is this just information? So like your guitar programs thing, I don't think it's I don't think it's going to make one sign up. It's good information, but I don't think it's necessarily going to make someone sign up as much as having a pricing page, because I think that's if someone has a question, it's not going to be, does he have a guitar program for my 9-year-old and how does it work exactly? Their question is, how much does it cost and when are lessons? That's what most people are going to want to know. And that's what you don't have on the website anywhere, or your location. I know that you're in Lebanon, but it doesn't, I don't really know kind of where, you probably don't want to put your home address out there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But kind of a general area would kind of help. I don't know how big, I guess it's not a big town anyway. So just saying that's probably enough.
I did put down the bottom footer. I did put my street name, Olenek Road, Lebanon, Connecticut, on the bottom footer, but not of the guitar program, the homepage.
Yeah, I would make that your footer.
Yeah.
The thing that's on the bottom of the homepage, I would make that your footer, like across the whole website.
Oh, okay.
Any pages that you have, I would make that your footer.
Okay.
Yeah, because that gives you that call to action at the bottom.
So you saying that maybe I really don't need the guitar, any kind of, even the general guitar programs page at all? I don't really need that,
Well, I mean, look at when people sign up. So they contact you, right?
Yeah.
And then what questions do they have for you? Or are they just like, hey, I'm ready to sign up right now?
Yeah, it's usually the normal, like you said, the prices and all that.
Has anyone ever asked you about the specifics of your program? And
about only once in a while there'll be what's your program about once in a while. Yeah. That's about it.
So you may kind of get that. And we get that sometimes too, kind of, how do lessons work here, that kind of thing. And I think you can maybe spin it more that way of like, hey, here's how lessons here work. You're going to get some private lessons. You're going to get some guitar groups. We're going to focus on music that you love. You kind of have that already, though. That's your bullet point thing on your homepage.
Yeah.
You've got these certificate programs. You've got all these different things. It's back to the ingredient list thing. You know, if you go to a restaurant, you want the food, you want to see the menu, and then you want to get some delicious food. You don't need to know the 27 things that go into it.
Yeah.
That's kind of your secret sauce, you know. Keep that, and then if anyone's interested, you can still keep it as a web page and say, hey, I've actually got this page, and just send them a link to it and say, this kind of runs through our whole program. Or once they sign up, you could send them that kind of thing. But I think it both overwhelms people with information, and it kind of answers the wrong questions.
Yeah.
You know, and it's us. I do the same thing because you're a teacher. Like, you love your program. You love what it does for people. But you need to focus more on the results, on the food. Why?
Yeah.
What do all of those things, that big list of stuff that you have in there, what's the end result? What do those kids wind up being? Are they confident? Can they do this? What's the food dish at the end? And that's what you serve to people, you put out there, instead of giving them all the ingredients. I think that's going to make the biggest difference for you.
So maybe instead of the guitar programs page, it would be like a lesson info page, and then
I would just put like home. You could just put about, honestly, and have home. You can do an about thing that talks kind of about you a little bit, like a little bit of your background, but make sure that you skew it towards what you're doing for students, not just here's my pedigree, here's all my awesomeness. And then have like a lessons thing. Keep it all pretty simple. So like home, about, lessons, or maybe like pricing, something like that.
So what do you mean by lessons?
So your lessons would maybe talk a little bit about your guitar program and stuff, but not in as much detail.
Okay.
So it would be more, so if you put it on the out page, it would be more about you and about your studio and just about the general, what you can do. And the lessons then would be pricing. It would be kind of how your stuff works, you know, what makes your studio different than the other studios. So the about is more about your studio as a whole and about you, and about what you can do for your students. Lessons is kind of about your lessons, the pricing, what days they're offered, you know, right. The hard thing with you, do you have another job, or is this what you do full time?
This is what I do full time.
Yeah. So you're like most, where, you know, maybe you teach Tuesday through Friday, but honestly, dude, I can teach 7 days a week whenever you want it, you know, like that's how I was for a long time. It's like, when I can be here. When do you want to be here? I'll be here. But it's overkill. It's too much information.
Yeah.
So set specific things. Say, hey, I'm here Monday through Friday, and I teach from 2 to 9 p.m. or whatever it's going to be for you. And if someone says, hey, that sounds awesome, but we're homeschool, we really love lessons at 1 o'clock, then you can make like a case-by-case exception. But I think having office hours would help, so that people know this is what I have. Even put out some availability, even if it's fake availability. You know, you might have 40 spots that are actually available right now, but advertise like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Say, I've got a Tuesday 7 o'clock spot open. You know, I'm looking for this type of student.
Yeah.
Go back to that student list where you write down everything about your students and you have all those qualities about them, and then just list those. Say, hey, I've got a 2 o'clock spot open on Thursdays. I'm looking for a student that is this. And I've gotten really good luck with those things, either putting those together or doing them separate. Saying, hey, we have a Thursday 4 o'clock spot, who wants it? Or saying, I'm looking for a really shy student that's maybe a little awkward and hasn't really found their thing yet. You know, they're just trying to kind of find their way. And none of that's about music. None of that's about anything. But moms read that and they go, that's my kid. We're so trying to find his thing right now. Like, that was the girl that came in yesterday and did all the ukulele stuff with her family. I just kind of mentioned that, and they're like, yes, like, that's it. We just haven't found her thing yet. I'm like, she's 9. You got some time, but maybe this will be it. Or if not, this will be a fun thing that she can do.
Cool.
So think about that and kind of start putting some things out there. So you're at 10 right now. Summer is, you know, kind of a hard time. So what I want to start doing with you over the next little bit is I want you to start thinking towards fall. Summer for me is always just kind of like a bonus thing. If I can get some stuff going in the summer, awesome. But honestly, most of our students take the summer off. Some of them have already paid a deposit for fall. They're coming back. But they're rich people. They travel. They do things. They're out of town all the time. They're in camps every week. I just know they're going to be out. So we're already talking about fall. We're going to start advertising our fall groups next week or the week after. And starting to fill those spots on the schedule. We started doing our summer stuff in March. So it's June. Start trying to talk about your fall stuff and your opening there. And if you can get some stuff in the summer, that's awesome. We're going to keep trying to push for that. And when you advertise for fall, you're going to get summer students. But like your thing today, when did you kind of invent that and start putting it out there?
Oh, well, I did that last week, but it wasn't until I was like, oh, maybe I should put that on my site too, and that's why I kind of put it at the last minute up there.
So that's what I was like. I was telling my wife about it because we talked a lot about the business stuff. I was like, okay, I just seen his Facebook page. I looked at your website last week before I really got on it. I was like, I didn't see anything about that. And then you've got it, and it's like today. So you got two people. One was kind of flaky, but you got the other one coming. You got two people that signed up for this thing with no notice at all, basically. Yeah. So imagine if you said, hey, on July 7th, I'm going to do this thing. And that's what Paul does, the G4 guy. He'll put them out, a month, 6 weeks in advance, do some Facebook ads, do some different stuff on his website, put it out there, and he'll get 40 or 50 people to come, which is like half of his school at this point. So I think if you give them more notice, if you say, hey, in July, we're going to do this big open day, come and hang out, it's going to be fun, we're going to do this, you're going to learn this and this and this, I think that can be a cool thing. You just got to give people time. Do a Facebook event about it that you can share. So we'll talk more about that stuff as well. But any other questions, any other things I can do for you?
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I got one more quick question. And I've been kind of doing this just to kind of grab some more money or whatever, more business. I'm not crazy about it. I posted it on the Facebook page about the in-home lessons.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not really crazy about doing those. I I have my studio here, my equipment and all that. But I was thinking, I can make some more money. I think that's probably not the best idea for me to do.
It could go either way. It depends on your area. So like I said, you can charge more. You can just take a day. You can say on Thursdays, I travel teach and do it. The piano teachers were kind of complaining you have to deal with their equipment. But they don't have to lug guitars and amps and effects and all the stuff that you're going to have to drag around. So keep that in mind. If you have a separate stash of travel gear that you can do to where you don't have to pack up your home studio once a week and then unpack it.
Yeah.
That would be better if you have a guitar and an amp and some stuff that you can use as your travel stuff. That would be better. You might have to have stuff for the student too. Maybe they want to take, but they don't really have an amp or they don't have whatever else. You have to think about that side of it. But you can put it out there. I don't think it's a bad thing. If it takes away from what you're currently doing in a major way, I think it's probably not a good idea. But if it's something that you can add to your studio, I think it can be a plus, especially in a smaller town.
Yeah.
Where maybe you'll drive into that bigger town and do that. It's worth a try. You don't have anything to lose. So if you're doing $150 a month, I wouldn't do it for cheaper than $175, $180, maybe even $200 a month. Yeah. You want to charge significantly more.
I was actually, it's probably a little bit crazy price, but I was even was going to do 50 minutes at it's actually $100 more, like $250 a month, but maybe that's pushing it.
You could go, because it's about time. So you could say, look, I only do 60-minute lessons when I travel because I have to come, I have to bring my stuff, I have to set it up, I have to tear it down. So you can do 60-minute lessons, which doesn't really cost you more because you don't have a ton of students that you're trying to book into those. Yeah. So you can do 60, which is going to increase your price, and then you could raise the price for travel stuff too. So yeah, I think you could be in that range because people that do travel lessons, they understand that it's a premium.
Yeah.
Come to me. It's $150 if you come to me. I would much prefer that. Yeah. But if you want me to come to you, it's this price, and you can tell them why. Look, I have to drive over. It's gas on my car. I have to bring all my equipment. I have to do all this stuff. My studio's here, and it's awesome. I love my studio. You're going to love it too. But if I have to come to you, this is the price. A lot of times you don't have to justify it, though. They understand.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and they're fine with it. It's just a different type of clientele.
Yeah.
So, I think it's probably more of a desperation play for you right now. I don't think it's something you're very excited about. But
yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
There are people that do really well with travel lessons. So maybe in your area, it would do super well. I don't know. So you can see. So it's something to think about for sure, but I don't know if I would necessarily throw all my eggs towards that. But let me know how it goes with you have that student coming in today?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and you had a couple more start this week, which sounds really good. So keep that going. Kind of keep me posted on where those are going. We've got 10 students this month is what I've got for you. We'll check in each month and kind of update your numbers as we go.
Okay.
I'd like to see you hit 2025 by, early fall. If we can do that by like September.
Yeah.
Or so, basically double your studio. It can happen quick.
Yeah.
You can kind of get some stuff going in there, but simplify your website a little bit. Copy all of those pages, so don't just ditch everything.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there, but just kind of put some other stuff in there. Maybe try some of those location-specific pages for those towns where you're not ranking as highly in. Put some stuff out there on Facebook and your website for maybe a next open day, like in July.
Yeah.
I've been trying to talk to Paul about it. He's trying to do more consistent, like regular advertising, so he doesn't have to do the big events. But I think for you, the big event works. I think you're more of a big picture kind of guy.
Yeah.
Maybe every 6 weeks you do an open day and advertise those, and you can keep putting those out there. And if people want to start before then, hey, you're welcome to jump in. I've got lessons. You can jump in at any time. But if you want to wait for this free open day to kind of give it a try, you can do that too. And we have no one starting in 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whenever it is.
Cool.
Do that. Put some stuff out there on your Facebook page on a regular basis, but specifically about advertising your lessons. A lot of that where you're like, hey, I've got a Thursday spot open, or looking for this type of student. It's business. Put it out there as trying to get new students. You have community pages on your Facebook?
I post those. I'm very careful. Yeah, they're very, I do the advertising and the buy and sells, but the other ones I gotta be careful. I gotta kind of just put my performance videos and certificate ones in there. I can't really advertise in them.
Absolutely, yeah. So find those videos and stuff that works. You can write blogs on how to get your kid to practice.
Yeah.
Or something like that, like just kind of community service type things.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you've got some good stuff going. Just keep putting yourself out there. I mean, you've picked up, what, like 3 students this week?
Well, no, I had, it's only one. Well, no, wait, yeah, I got, yeah. Well, no, I got one, well, basically two. I got one that started, and then one next week is starting.
Yeah.
And I got the one that's stopping by tonight to try out the free one.
Yeah. So do that. Don't overwhelm her with information, or him, whoever's coming by tonight.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Okay.
Really simple. Remember, you're trying to just get them to sign up. You can give them all that information later. You can show them all the stuff. Show them. Don't tell them.
Yeah.
Show them all of the cool stuff that your program can do. Don't just tell them or give them a paper that has everything on it.
Yeah.
Your whole goal tonight is just close the deal.
Yeah.
Like get them to sign up, and then you can sell them whatever. Tell them whatever they need. Not that way, but tell them as much information as they need to get them to sign up.
Cool.
Tell them the stuff they're going to want. They're going to want to know about pricing. They're going to want to know what you have available. Have all that stuff ready to go. Type up a little thing if you have time before tonight that has that kind of stuff on it. And then you can just talk about the other stuff in passing. But make it about them instead of you. So instead of saying, here's all the stuff, say, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to work on? Here's how my program is going to fit that. And here's how it's going to take you where you want to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, check back in. Let me know what else you got. I've got a consult coming up in 3 minutes, so I got to run.
Sorry it took so long here.
You're good. Yeah, I'm glad talking to you. But yeah, keep me posted on your progress. We'll put some stuff on the sheet. So I went ahead and filled in. I added another thing for what's your immediate goal for your studio. Put 25 students. I'll put your monthly goal update. If you want to fill in just where it says how you're feeling this month,
okay.
That's just kind of a general thing. If you're stressed, you're anxious, you're feeling pretty optimistic, or if you're just feeling like I'm done with this, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a paragraph, like a word or two. It just kind of sums up how you feel this month.
Yep.
As you're looking into it, kind of helps. And none of this is for me, so don't feel like you have to put anything or try to impress me or do anything weird. Like, this is 100% for you. So
okay.
Whatever you need there, and this is just what we use to kind of follow where we go from here.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, man.
So thanks a lot for all this.
You got it. I'll send you this video. It takes a little while for it to process, but I'll try to get this up today or tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
All right, man. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Shane.
See ya.